Morena tātou, and a very warm welcome to our council meeting of the 25th of September. If we could all please stand for our opening karakia. Tu tawa mai runga, tu tawa mai raro, tu tawa mai roto, tu tawa mai waho. Kia tau ai te Māori tū, te Māori ora, ki te katoa. Huie, tai kia. Just a reminder that this meeting is being live streamed on Council's Facebook page. We have no apologies for today. Do we have any conflicts of interest? We have public forum here today. Leonie Warwalk from Ngāto Hawke's Bay, accompanied by a couple of our lovely rangatahi who are here to speak to us about a Ngātoa youth initiative. So I will pass across to you, Leonie. Welcome.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Wise, and thank you, councillors, for allowing us this opportunity to share this initiative with you around a youth hub in the Napier CBD. With me is Natasha Junson. That I had the pleasure of meeting Natasha last week. She's a youth advocate for the Rainbow community, and also Amelia McDade, many of you will know from the Napier Youth Council. And we have a number of other supporters with us as well for this initiative here today. This proposed Youth Hub initiative is presented in the spirit of a shared vision with the Napier City Council youth strategy. It's about an empowering and inclusive community for young people to thrive, contribute and feel a strong sense of belonging, where their voices are valued and they're heard, where their identities are respected and their futures are self-determined. It's about creating a space where our youth feel that they belong, and moving beyond some of the narrative around focusing on at-risk negative labels that we tend to give to our young people, blaming teachers, parents, gaming, devices, and reacting in an ad hoc manner to youth issues, and fixing single youth problems or issues in isolation. We need to change the narrative and move towards understanding our young people, what's important to them, and engaging them as partners in their future and the future of our city. Encouraging adults to be supportive mentors, and planning being really intentional, so not continuing on the talking, but actually get some intentional action in play. Achieving an inclusive community where our youth are innovative and energetic participants in our community outcomes. So who are our youth in Napier? According to Infometrics 2024, our actual Napier population has grown to 67,500 now, so we are on the increase. Our 15 to 24-year-olds make up over 17% of that population, and our under 15-year-olds are over 18.5%. And most of the Napier population is centred around Nelson Park and Taradale wards, as I'm sure you're aware. And in education for us in Napier, 13% of our young people leave school with no NCEA qualifications, or whatever the future qualifications are going to be, and 10% leave with only level 1. We're a very cultural, diverse community here in Napier, with a higher proportion of European and Māori compared to the New Zealand population. The Youth Hub would need to embrace this diversity, including neurodiversity. In the employment stakes, 14% of our 15 to 24-year-olds are not in employment, education or training. So we would aim to run programs that would address some of that as well. The youth voice has been loud and clear. This is just some snippets of what some of the voices are coming through, and I'm sure you've all heard them in various forums. But I guess the common theme for our young people is around safety and accessibility. They want a safe place to call their own, where they can meet up, they can learn, they can connect, and they can socialise. At the moment, they say there are just too many bars, cafes around Napier that they don't feel welcome in. They want somewhere where there's free from alcohol and drugs, which was, an interesting point that they have raised. There's not enough places for youth entertainment and events where they can actually drive that. And it is an issue to understand that our young people don't feel safe to come into the city, not only at night, but even during the day. So I think that's something that this hub will address, and that they will have their own space to make it their own. Research tells us, we know that creativity is at the heart of resilience and well-being. Fostering creativity through the arts, whether it's in schools or extracurricular activities and partnering in some of those activities, empowers our young people to better learning throughout other subjects and areas of their lives, and raising both personal competencies and academic success. And it's also around life skills and career planning skills as well. These are important components that perhaps are missing, so an opportunity for that. 80% of young New Zealanders say that doing creative things makes them feel excellent or good. Arts engagement can reduce the risk of developing mental illness in adolescents. And participating in arts activities can build self-esteem, self-acceptance, confidence and self-worth, all which help protect against mental illness. And I guess essentially at the heart of this, we're all creatives in some way, shape or form. So when I talk of the arts, I'm not talking of visual arts or performing arts. The creative sector is much, much wider and broader than that. And as I said, we are all creatives at heart in whatever our endeavours are. So why do we need a space and place for our young people? Creating safe spaces for our youth is a critical strategy in empowering our young people and fostering their development. By implementing strategies that promote respect, inclusion, active participation, we can unlock the full potential of our young people. The benefits of these safe places extends beyond individual empowerment, however. It encompasses our broader community, our whānau, our societal improvements that we all strive to achieve. And as we continue to support and invest in youth, we pave the way for a more inclusive, innovative and resilient future for our city as well. This space and place is a launch pad for Generation Next, our movers and shakers, our forward thinkers and our future decision makers. Taking young people on the journey to embrace a positive future, and to exclude them excludes our future potential as a city and a community. The solution, and I'll apologise now, it is 41 Station Street, not Market Street. We're opposite Te Aka, the new library development, and watching that with interest across the road. We've been there about 16 months. It's called Blank Canvas for a reason. It's a creative community hub that our community can make their own, and we've had various initiatives in there. It was initially sort of in response to people who lost their livelihoods through Cyclone Gabrielle and were dislocated and isolated. So we ran a number of connections through creativity and wellbeing programs through there in the first instance. We see it as a safe space for all our youth, aged 12 to 24, all at once, because it'll be around youth-led programming and activities and age-appropriate activities in there. We don't want to be prescriptive with how that takes shape. We want to be driven by our youth voice on how that will play out. It's also an opportunity for entrepreneurship with our young people. A number sort of say they want to have a go at and testing and validating business ideas and some of their entrepreneurial skills. So we do have engagement also from our business community and our arts community as mentors. So it won't stand alone without a wider community support, which is encouraging. It is already an inclusive and safe space, and we can build on that. We're members of Arts Access Aotearoa, which means that we have policies and procedures in place to ensure it's accessible for all, and the initiatives and programs that we do. It's important that we make it a safe space for our LGBTQT and rainbow community, running anti-bullying campaigns and safety awareness training. I was talking with the police youth engagement team yesterday around how we would, work together and collaborate on making it a truly safe space. Youth leadership training and support would be part of it, and the inclusive design, and make sure it's age-appropriate programming. Transport and accessibility was the other issue raised. by our youth, and we've been talking with Regional Council, and Amelia informs me that they have also been talking around how we make buses and our public transport system a safe space for our young people to use. Okay, so moving on to the ask of this initiative. We're asking for one-off seed funding to get this initiative started. We would like to employ a youth leader to work on this project with Ngā Toi and actually do minor refurbishment, but get some tools and resources. The key thing there is getting underway with a hui in consultation with the various groups that we've already engaged with, so that we can actually kickstart this and actually, as I said, get some intentional planning underway. So that's a one-off ask of seed funding, and from there, it gives Ngā Toi the opportunity to engage with partners and co-funders. Year one, we would be looking to raise another $80,000 to $85,000, and in year two, we will hopefully have some pretty strong partnerships in place for multi-year funding that won't be requiring Napier City Council support in with that. Some of the supporters we've been talking to, and there are many, many more other than this, and other people that have been using the hub and still use the hub for rangatahi around Big Brother, Big Sister, CCS, Te Hiwi Amahaki through Cheyenne, and Toi Matarua through Charlisa. So we see ourselves as a connector. We don't stand alone with this, but we can connect our youth to other opportunities in our wider Napier region. But hopefully the intention is to bring them into the city and be an active participant safely in our city. Thank you. That's hopefully 10 minutes.
That's quite all right. Thank you very much. I will open for any questions from councillors. Great presentation. Thank you. No questions. And I do want to acknowledge Natasha, who very bravely asked a question of all the mayoral candidates in a room full of about 150 people a couple of weeks ago. So questioning us about what's available for youth in our city. So thank you for that. And we do see the need. So we appreciate you all taking the time to come and present to us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
All good.
Well done.
Just briefly, announcement from myself. We will be just changing the order of today's meeting slightly. We'll take our first open agenda item as we've got guests here to present that for the Hawke's Bay Tourism Update. Then we will move into public excluded, and then we will move back into open and finish with our valedictorial speeches. So a very, very special meeting for us all today. Do we have any announcements by management?
None.
Okay. Confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting of council held on Thursday the 28th of August. If I could have a mover and seconder. Thank you, Councillor Gregg and Councillor Bogue. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. And then minutes of the extraordinary meeting of council from Tuesday the 9th of September. Thank you, Councillor Price and Councillor Crystal. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Are there any minor matters not on the agenda? No. Right, on that note then, we will invite our first agenda speakers. We've got Hamish Saxton here from Hawke's Bay Tourism, and I believe supported by Kevin Murphy. So welcome to you.
Morena koutou, and also like to introduce Chris Lana. Chris is the chair of the Hawke's Bay Tourism Industry Association here in support of Hawke's Bay Tourism as well. So in her role, she automatically, as the chair of Hawke's Bay Tourism Industry Association, ends up on the board of Hawke's Bay Tourism. So great to have our governance representative here also. Sure.
I'd just like to point out that I'm here with my new tourism hat on, with the new roles, and just point out also that Hawke's Bay Tourism, I've had probably about 20 years connection with them over in different forms, often around events, but they are an important organisation for the region. We need an RTO, and it'll be really interesting to see how the challenges are that they've got with the presentation today. Thanks, Hamish.
Great. Thank you very much. So firstly, just an acknowledgement of this council's investment in the new funding for Hawke's Bay Tourism. So we are now funded by the councils of Hastings District, Napier City and Central Hawke's Bay District Council. Previous to this, obviously funded by Hawke's Bay Regional Council, our three council funders asked us to come up with a minimum viable funding figure, which we came to the councils with, and as a result, we have got a commitment until at least the 30th of June next year as part of the financial year that we're working in. We deem that to be collectively an interim solution until a more sustainable solution can be secured, and obviously we'll be working with Napier City Council, with the new council as part of the annual plan process, and obviously hopefully taking us through to the 26-27 financial year, we will be able to enter the LTP long-term process to create a more sustainable environment for Hawke's Bay tourism. Looking forward to a great, albeit slightly reduced cruise season this year. In a few weeks, there will be a pre-cruise season briefing for all tourism operators. And we're also been very excited to announce that Hawke's Bay will be hosting the Great Wine Capital's annual conference and AGM. That will be in October next year. So we will be hosting an exclusive delegation from around the world of our 11 Great Wine Capital partners, as well as a new member who has a new observer status. So we're going to be excited about that international delegation. You will have noted also that the current government has announced new funding for tourism and events. And so we are working with local event organisers to support them in their applications to the Events Boost, but those events are reliant also on support and investment from local government, and we are also working with other regional tourism organisations in collaborative initiatives with the Regional Tourism Boost Fund, which is a $10 million fund across 30 regions over 2 tranches, aimed at bringing visitors, international visitors specifically, into our regions and into the country. So we will be looking at how we can target international visitors, particularly for the shoulder seasons, March through to June. With a high reliance also on the domestic market, I think it's important to acknowledge the investment that all councils make in events, large and small. 85% of our market is domestic, so they all need great reasons and seasons and new things to just keep them returning to Hawke's Bay. There needs to be always a fresh approach. So utilising the event marketing that goes with some of those events is a great way also of elevating the Hawke's Bay brand and the hopeful urgency to travel, stay longer, spend more. Perhaps it's unfortunate that our name is Hawke's Bay Tourism because we're interested in visitors. Our measurement is visitor spend. And if we were to define a visitor, then based on visitor spend, a visitor is defined as somebody who travels more than 40 kilometres away from where they would normally receive their bank card, or in the old days, their statement. So that defines a visitor. So whether you are coming to Hawke's Bay to buy a tractor, take the whānau out to the Lone Star, whether you are here to visit the Gannets, whether you are here for a specific event, you are a visitor if you travel more than 40 kilometres, and that's really important to all of the businesses who benefit from visitors: retailers, supermarkets, fuel stations, all of those things. When you probably think from a tourism perspective, it's simply Art Deco Gannets and riding bikes and other events. So it's really, really important to think that we do our best to attract as many visitors to the region as possible. And this fantastic facility, Napier War Memorial, and the conference facilities here, another great reason and a great place to host visitors. Business events are really, really important, particularly midweek, and they support, of course, many of these things support our fantastic connectivity, our aviation. And you may recall that The Auckland to Hawke's Bay service is Air New Zealand's 5th busiest domestic service, and that helps connect us all. But the only way to grow that is through leisure and business and getting and attracting people from out of the region in. So I'd just like to quickly pass it over to Chris Lana before we take any questions thrown.
Thank you, Hamish. In my capacity of chair of Hawke's Bay Tourism Industry Association, we held our AGM on Tuesday and want to acknowledge the presence of Mayor Kirsten Wise and Councillor Rhonda Crystal for being there. It was really appreciated that you were there with us within the room. The industry has representation of 132 members at the moment. And we've been working extremely hard to demonstrate value and also maintain and grow our membership. And that was definitely shared within the AGM. At the completion of the AGM, there was also an opportunity to present what we refer to as the Di Snee Award. And this is an award that acknowledges an individual who has significantly contributed to the tourism industry. And that award was given to Jane Libby, who is the manager of the Napier eyesite. And certainly from an industry perspective of the outreach that Jane has got, not only to the overall visitor experience, but her overall contribution that she has within the actual visitor industry as well too. So I just wanted to share that with you because it was very, very much an opportunity to recognise the work that Jane has been doing and has been doing probably for the last couple of decades. Thank you.
We have supplied a report, effectively a quarterly report, and we're happy to take any questions on the basis that we take it as read. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll open up for any questions. Deputy Mayor Brosnan.
Thank you very much for the update and the report, and that was great to hear about the recognition of Jane as well, so thank you for that. My question, I guess, comes off the back of some of the criticism we see in the community around industry should fund this activity, and I know you are well familiar with that argument. And so, being that we don't have a mechanism at the moment to compel membership, and I think you mentioned your membership numbers just in the speech there. Your membership my question is, your membership numbers versus the number of organisations that benefit from your membership. Have you done any piece of work on that?
Great question. Yeah, we have done a little bit on that. And in fact, right at the moment, the Regional Economic Development Agency is working with Martin Jenkins on an independent report to ascertain the value of promotion and visitors, just to ascertain the beneficiaries of tourism, because I think it's really easy to say a motel is a beneficiary and a cafe, but actually there are significant other suppliers and outlets and retailers that all benefit from the power of the visitor dollar. So I think understanding that is really, really important. So certainly we have some people who would probably be deemed as being tourism operators who are not members, and we have some terrific strong membership who are probably doing some of the heavy lifting, because membership of Hawke's Bay Tourism is voluntary. So you can imagine that with a smaller team adding another layer to chase, to present, to convince voluntary spend to become a member and support our organisation. And compared to the other 29 or 30 RTOs in the country, we are probably one of the most supported by tourism businesses to voluntarily become and pay for membership. And some of that membership is in the region of from $500 for basic membership through to $1,500 and support beyond that. So some of our businesses are paying in excess of $2,000, $3,000 before they pay $500 to have the brochure in the Napier eyesite, before they pay $500 to have the brochure in the Hastings and Havelock, et cetera, et cetera. So our organisations are significantly supported by the visitor economy, those who are really in it. Thank you.
And sorry, just one follow-up question. The Martin Jenkins report, is the intention that that is ready in time to support LTP conversations?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much.
And so that's that is all led and effectively paid for by REDA.
Councillor Crystal.
Through the Mayor, I was at the meeting the other day, and one of the, your graphs were great, and there was obviously a very big spike in our visitor spend during the Robbie Williams concert, which of course we haven't had something like that for 2 years. And I know this money is coming, the government are going there. So how active are we being in that event space to drive that? Because we all know, any business knows that events bring a huge amount of money into this region, and we're such a good place for them.
So yeah, it has generated quite a bit of conversation around the country, and we've got 2 conversations going on to do with next year. So there's definitely an opportunity, and it just the promoters that own the content, it's where the conversation starts. So I'm in communication with them.
I'll just add to that as around criteria. So the tranche, which is 40 million from government, which we've yet to see the full criteria for, is for attracting a significant number of international visitors. The $10 million space that events will be able to vie for is much more, it is still about the international visitation, but at a slightly smaller scale, so we will have events applying for that.
Okay, it's just following on from that, in terms of within your existing resourcing, how does Hawke's Bay Tourism support event attraction alongside the councils that are in that space as well?
Yeah, I'm sure we can both answer that. So Hawke's Bay Tourism takes the role because we are about Hawke's Bay. We take a regional event coordination role because we do have councils working with each other, but also there's that co-opetition aspect as well. So we coordinate frequent meetings to understand what the opportunities are, what the calendar looks like. We're lucky that councils work very well together in that space, and obviously we have, as Hawke's Bay Tourism, the website, the database, the followers to be able to amplify the event messages and the marketing along those lines. So it's really important to our region.
Okay, so
Just following up on that, some of the conversations that we've been having, because of the restrictions on the spend to do with the campaigns that Hawke's Bay Tourism have previously had, we're talking about the key events that we have here from year to year and the new ones that come in. For example, the marathon, a massive boost to the region, but what we need to do is be smart on how we contract the organising or the organisers of the marathon to make sure that we can leverage our product into their marketing. So it's not necessarily a cost for us, but it's leveraging the contract that we exist, or we have in existence anyway. And so those conversations are what we're trying to tease out now, because there are real opportunities to leverage those bigger events.
okay, thank you. So would it be fair to say that at the moment the attraction of events sits more with individual councils?
Yes, it does. That's yes, exactly. So Hawke's Bay Tourism has generally been involved with the development of bids to attract, but generally the funds actually specifically, there are often unbudgeted initiatives, and those funds normally sit with councils and with others. And independent businesses that rely on events, the Mission, Black Barn, those types of businesses. So we certainly do not have the funds available to invest in event attraction, and you'll also note that's why the government has put that funding there. The 40 mil is to allow for, to a degree, underwriting and attracting, because it's a highly competitive space.
Okay, thank you. One final question from me. Are there any others around the floor? Just regards to Fork in particular, and obviously we are not having Fork this year, and I'd be keen to know if we can look forward to that returning next year.
It's a trick question about funding support from local government, Mayor Kirsten. Fork can only return if Hawke's Bay Tourism is adequately funded. It's a great event for the region, but we are we're operating on effectively $500,000 less than we were of local government funding specifically. But if you look at our operating budgets for the last 4 years, we're actually operating at a total of 1.5 million less than previous. So with reduced budget, with reduced resource in-house, we're currently unable to do Fork within this financial year.
Thank you, Hamish, and that's certainly something that I would be keen to explore going forward. Just sort of acknowledging that we have a lot of local businesses that very much benefit from Fork, so having a good understanding of where the roles, the lanes are, etc., so that we can perhaps ensure that that event proceeds in the future without heavy reliance on council funding. So, yeah. Just open up one final chance for any further questions. There being none, then the recommendation in front of us is to receive the report. If I could have a mover and seconder, thank you. Councillor Crystal, Councillor Mawson, would you like to speak to that?
No, just thank you for the report. I know times are tough for everyone at the moment, and onwards and upwards, Hawke's Bay.
Councillor Mawson,
Yeah, through the chair, thank you for all your hard work, guys. Thank you.
any further speakers? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you, Chris, Hamish, and thank you, Kevin. Really appreciate your time today. It was good update. Thank you. Okay, so as I indicated, we will now be moving into public excluded. If I could have a mover, thank you, Councillor Mawson, seconded by Councillor Taylor. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. So we will need to